Welcome to my fourth masterclass. This is called Building a Portfolio. And this is really exciting because it's really a fundamental part of the creative process. I've got 5 key points that I want to drive home today, and I want you to focus on these. My first key point is that a portfolio is a complete representation of your work. It defines your level, and it, most importantly, is about brand you, because it defines also your creative style. In a portfolio, you have more or less 2 mediums. You have either tear sheets or test imagery or images. And for me, the one thing that is more credible are tear sheets. Why? Because a tear sheet has normally credits, so it credits the production, and it has your name on it. And secondly, the most important thing is that it's torn out of a physical magazine or publication. So it really is proof that you have done a commercial job. Whereas tests are normally something that you try in your spare time and are not normally shown or shared with the general public. The other thing about a portfolio is that it should be focused and short. In other words, to be really strong, the goal is to have your best images portrayed. And really, the moral of the story is less is more. For me, do not show portfolio fillers. In other words, don't pad out the portfolio if you don't have enough images to show. Keep it short and succinct, and make sure you do not have blank pages in the middle of it. In other words, if you need to have blank pages because it's short and succinct, then put your blank pages at the end or reduce your book size. Because at the end, having too much of the same material actually takes away from the strength of the message and the strength of your own creative processes. Tip number 2 in building a portfolio is aim for consistency. Why? Because consistency drives the coherence of flow. It shows the flow of your work. It shows image strength, it shows aesthetic tone, that's important, and it shows a consistency of style, of creative style. So really key elements in terms of showing your true brand, yourself. Important to remember, strong beginning, strong end. In other words, when I open the first page, I want high impact. I want the best images that you can show. So for me, you start with a big bang, you end on a big bang. If you have a really great portfolio, then to create the coherence of flow throughout, also think about a middle point. So you have these highs, come down, a little bit calmer, come back up, come down, a little bit calmer, bang, finish off on something really, really powerful. That helps throughout. And if you have a strong portfolio, you have a strong story. A strong story sells you. So my third tip in building a portfolio is about good narrative. So we talked about consistency, now we talk about the style of the content. So going back to what I was saying before, start with your strongest image, either color or black and white. I would normally say start with color. Normally place a single image per page. A single image means it's one tear sheet. It's not multiple tear sheets in one page. So it's a single image even though it can have more than one model. Make sure that your story, if you're presenting a story, must not exceed 4 pages. Make sure that the story is the same one when it's a double page open. So it's an image from the same production that was produced. And thirdly, what you need to think about is the type of imagery that you're showing your client. So first of all, understand who you're talking to, and then tailor your portfolio to fit the brief. In other words, if you're talking to a fashion magazine, then show fashion imagery. If you're talking to a hair magazine, show hair imagery. The other thing is show diversity of images. In other words, it's head and shoulders, 3/4, full length. Don't be afraid to show the full gamut and the range of your skill set, depending on what job that you do, whether you are a hair artist, makeup, or clothes styling. Those are important in terms of how you project your imagery towards the world. My fourth tip in terms of building a portfolio is the type of portfolio that you're presenting to the world. Now, if you're hair, makeup, clothes stylists, I would recommend digital. Why? Because it's a flexible medium and it can be tailored to suit the client. However, if you're a photographer, then in my view, you need to show original images. Why? Because original images are the strongest representation of your work. And the danger is that sometimes when they're reproduced in different publications, the quality of reproduction can vary. So as a photographer, the final image is your key signature. And that's really key. It's really important to drive that forwards. And for me, when I'm looking at a photographer's book, what I love is the original image to be shown and also the care that has been taken. In other words, is it covered with tracing paper sometimes rather than plastic and so on? Really, you need to bring the original image to life. And its best way to see it is in its original form. So for me, photographers have images in their portfolio. If it's hair, makeup, clothes styling, then go digital, go iPad. But if you're going to go iPad, use the biggest sizes that you can get. So in other words, take the largest formats you can get in terms of iPad sizes. The other reason for using an iPad, as I said before, is its ability to customize. Remember, in this day and age, it's really important that the kind of client that you're talking to needs to be able to see work that is representative of the brief that they're going to be giving you. And for me, the other thing is that when I go into go-sees or when I'm doing castings, the important thing is normally I like to see, rather than a physical book, I prefer to see a digital image on an iPad. So for me, the other topic is that the big no-no is the use of phones. In other words, someone coming to a casting or coming to a production meeting and they're showing their work on an iPhone is simply a no-go. Why? Because it's not representative and it shows they don't have the pride, the necessary go to achieve the success that we want from them. My fifth tip in building a portfolio is tear sheets versus prints. Tear sheets for me are proof of actual work done. Tear sheets show that you're actually working on things that are published. Tear sheets should include credits or the editorial team. And if you are actually doing advertising, then that should show the brand name because obviously it shows the quality of work that you are doing. So it's really important that clients can see within the portfolio that it's either coming from a Premier League magazine publication or a really top brand name. And the bigger the brand name, the better the portfolio, in theory. However, when it comes to photographers, as I've said before, show print images because magazine quality in terms of tear sheets can vary in terms of production. And the portfolio that a photographer shows is also the style of it is representative of the creativity and the care that they take within their work. As part of building a portfolio, I would like to finish on one particular extra tip because I think it's really important. And this is the world of social media because nowadays it plays a key role in all our lives. For me, social media represents a snapshot of your work. That's all it is. And also what it does is embellish the work that you're showing in your portfolio. In other words, what it does is show you backstage at shoots. It shows you with selfies with key models or with key elements of the production team. What it does is bring your storyline to life, but it shouldn't take over from your portfolio. The other key learning is do not mix personal images with work images. Keep them completely separated. So in other words, if you're showing your work and you want it to be a professional social media site, then just simply have the best of your work representative. Do not mix personal photos of family, of animals, of holidays, or whatever. Only do it in the context of your professional life.